Welcome to Rambling Reality, the meanderingly pointed podcast. I'm your host, Jessica Hannon, aka the resident academic nerd with research queen tendencies.
Okay, so this is a different kind of a podcast. I'm doing a redefining of why you guys listen, what you guys listen to. So here's what I need you to do. I need you guys to check my Twitter because I have a link to a survey and I want to know what you guys are listening to, what you guys are interested in, what you guys think about my podcast. Give me some real feedback because I need to kind of know this so I know where to go because I've done the rambling thing for a while now, right? And we know that I can talk and talk and talk. Unfortunately, listening to me talk and talk and talk is probably kind of boring after about the third time, right? So I kind of want to do some more interviews or maybe get some more special guest hosts, aka my friends, if I can round any up. Maybe do them with my cousin once because she and I can go on and on and on. But we also have a lot of memories because we went to middle school and high school together. So there's a lot of gems in that time frame for you guys. I have an idea of what I want to do, but I'm not sure how to do it. And I want to make sure that I do it in a way that's appropriate. I think that maybe the rambling will be more themed. You know, each episode can be something different. Sometimes I may end up having different clips from failed podcasts that I never finished. You know, I really want to focus on something more because I started this out as just a journal for me, kind of like therapy between therapy sessions, because Lord knows I need therapy and that's why I'm in it. And it kind of gives me a little bit of a look into things. And one of my friends recently said that I'm very hard to give advice to. I don't necessarily know if that's true, but I don't disagree entirely either. I know I can come across as that way, but I'm actually not. I just live inside my head and I've probably gone over 15 different looks, many different ways, and you know, it's a long process. So here's what we're going to do. You guys are going to go to my Twitter at Jessica Hannon 81. And you guys are going to catch that link, which I will pin to the top of my timeline. And I'll give like maybe 2 weeks to go over it. So that will give you time before the next podcast or so. And it gives you an idea of what to expect. I'm going to come up with the next podcast will probably be a little bit about books because I love to read. And I have half of a podcast that I can put in there, and I've been reading more, and I just picked up a book on Southern women writing, which is amazing. A book on the badass librarians at Timbuktu. I love that sort of stuff. I'm a nerd. And I've also got Terry Pratchett, which I don't know a lot about, contrary to previous stories written, but my fiance Sven loves him, and so I'm trying to incorporate him more into my reading. Yes, I know he does Discworld, but roll with me here. I'm trying to do this as painless as possible, but I need you guys' feedback desperately. I'm not saying that's because, ooh, I want attention. I'm saying that because if you guys are listening, that means you care. If you care, I want to know why. Because I want this to be interesting for you as well as for me. You know, if I just sit here and blah, blah, blah all day and no one listens, doesn't matter. But if you guys are engaging like I know Nicholas Young is, then I want to hear why. I want to hear feedback. I need you guys to fill out that survey. It's just a survey monkey. It's nothing serious. There's only about 6 questions, I think, that are absolutely maybe 7. The rest of them are just kind of demographic stuff. You can take it with what you will. But the idea is for you guys to give me some feedback and some clue on what's enjoyable to you. You know, did you enjoy the episode with my friend? As we were in, Longhorns, or did you enjoy, the one about my depression, or the NWHL, or the Women's Hockey League? You know what? You guys know what I'm talking about. Okay. Other than that, this is probably going to be a very short podcast. I have a new logo that Sven and I have been working on. It's a sound wave, but it's also got like a bullseye target, and that's pretty much on me. I just like the design and I like the colors. And then we found an iguana to put on top, and the iguana has a point, contrary to what you may believe. And in fact, I don't actually really like reptiles. But when I was little, my dad had 3 iguanas: Elmer, Elvira, and Elvis. Elvis, of course, named after the Miami Vice character. Elvira, you can guess, and Elmer's kind of a given. Because at the time, my My dad's 110-gallon saltwater tank busted. It just, when he was at work and I was at school one day. Flooded the floor, had to be redone. But in the meantime, he needed to do something with the tank, so he decided to get iguanas for some unknown reason. And so I just kind of liked it, and I liked the way that the expression, the huh is kind of a good indication of me when you guys are hearing me talk. Also, I'm going to plug another podcast before I go in just a minute. Oops, It's a Girl by Kira Browen. I hope I'm saying your name right. It is a pretty interesting podcast. It's very similar in mine, I think, but her episodes have a little bit more focus. I found it last night when I was just trying to find new podcasts to listen to because I was cleaning up the house and I needed something that was engaging. I really like her voice. It actually reminds me a lot of mine. Not necessarily the tone, but definitely I can hear the somewhat subtle southerns. I know Baltimore's not really in the South, or Maryland. I don't really know where you'd put that one when you talk to someone from the South about the South. But generally speaking, she doesn't have an accent. She doesn't have anything like that. But there's some very southernisms in the way that she refers to things. And even though she hasn't been here in, 25 years? Something like that. So definitely listen to her. And the title, Oops, It's a Girl, is a great introduction to a pretty brutal story, actually. But it goes from there, and you learn some things. Like, mentorship is really hard as a woman sometimes because it's hard to find it's hard to find podcasts that work. And Oops, It's a Girl really works. I have some more, and let's see. One of them is by Forbes. It's about mentoring women. The name just left my head, but definitely check that one out because it's got Oprah's former chief of staff. And so that's pretty interesting. If you want to hear about the crazy way life can take you, being an administrative assistant can be unusual as a former one, looking for current work. But it's also about networking. And by networking, I don't just necessarily mean your job networking, but understanding how your networking in your career can go. So I'm working on that, and I'm listening to more podcasts. I'm going to close out this episode. It's listener survey. Like, it's so strange to me that we have a listener survey going on when, TV was supposed to conquer radio, and yet basically we're just doing online radio with canned interviews, right? And canned, commercialized NPR type stuff. That's basically what a podcast is. So I think it's pretty interesting. I want you guys to go onto the social media. Oh, and if you go to ramblingreality.tumblr.com, you can find some extras, because occasionally I do actually post extras and they don't really fit into any particular podcast, but they're sometimes they're pretty important things. Like the last one I did the second one was about needing to understand the refugee crisis, easy for me to say, and to really focus on why it matters, why people deserve the right to be heard. And, that's something close to my heart. No, I don't know a refugee that I know of, but I think refugees deserve respect. Go on there. You can also hear one interesting little tidbit with me and my fiance through Skype and my thingamajigger here. So if you guys want to listen, check that out. My other locations, you can find my blog at clevergirl.xyz. You can find my freelancing portfolio at researchqueen.xyz, because I might as well market the fact that I am in that age group. Wild Pantheon Press, which is kind of going through some stuff it's kind of in the middle of trying to figure out what it should be because of cost, because I don't have the startup capital, I don't have the investors, so I can't actually pay anyone to write there. And yeah, anyway, I'm working on that. There's a story coming up today, as long as I don't fall asleep from the insomnia, about comic books and what goes on during Comic Book Day, written by Lauren, my friend, who also used to work at the Gwinnett Daily Post as a freelance editor. By the way, she's looking for a job. Anybody want to give her one? Honestly, she's a really good editor. She worked for Gray's Publishing here in Atlanta. So if anybody wants to catch me, those are those places. I'm on Facebook at Jessica Hannon 580. Jessica.Hannon.587, because apparently it's the dot and I'm also on Instagram under Jessica Hannon 81, even though I haven't posted pictures in forever. Mostly I'm on Twitter and Facebook right now because trying to maintain like many different things is just too much sometimes. So I kind of let other stuff fall by the wayside. Hence the podcast falling aside for a while too. But I want to talk to you guys. I want to hear some feedback. Catch me on Twitter, even if you don't want to fill out the survey. Let me know. Like, I love listening to you guys. I love talking back. You know, Nicholas is constantly talking to me. He's constantly, giving me updates on what he's listening and what he likes. And that helps. And I kind of want that from the rest of you guys. I don't know how many of you are even listening. And I want to get an idea so I can kind of curate content you care about, because you guys probably don't care about some of the other content that I've been writing about because I just ramble. So just get back to me. Let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to say bye, guys. I hope you guys have an enjoyable day. Have a good week. Go eat a cookie, however you eat cookies. Be it vegan, be it, big gloopy blobs of, fresh out of the oven, not quite dry, not quite, hard versions, whatever. Dip it in something and enjoy your day. See you guys.
Music by Josh Woodward from the Free Music Archive. Thanks! Thanks for listening to Rambling Reality. Want to leave a comment or have a question? Email me at jessica@researchqueen.xyz, and don't forget to follow me on Twitter at jessicahannon81. Subscribe on iTunes or add the podcast to your favorite RSS feed for all new episodes. Thanks, guys. Bye.